Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, it's WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. With your host, the dazzling and talented Sandy Kastel. WIMA is a non-profit organization comprised of dynamic, influential women in the performing, visual, and literary arts, dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. For the next 60 minutes, we'll meet local performers, painters, sculptors, singers, songwriters, musicians, comedians, dancers, authors, and more. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is Sandy Kastel.
Welcome to Women in Music and Arts. This is your host, Sandy Kastel, and we are broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada on KLAV AM 1230. This show is being brought to you by members of Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. You can learn more about Women in Music and Arts, our monthly mixers, music events, art shows, workshops, seminars, and community outreach programs by going to our website, WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMAinternational.com, where you can become a member, be a sponsor, or donate to the WIMA Scholarship Fund. In the studio with me, we have artist Terry Ritter, singer-songwriter Linda Addington, and 2 UNLV graduate students, fantasy writer Angelique Stefanelli and special effects makeup artist Jason Berman. The topic of our show today is turning your talents into a career. We are going to ask our guest who inspired you. When did you know what you wanted to do? What did you do to accomplish your goal? And why did you do it? And where can our listeners find you? Let's welcome our first guest, Terry Ritter. Terry Ritter has been a performer in Las Vegas for over 30 years. She has also been a painter. Her insights have given her the ability to capture the emotions of showgirls, dancers, and singers as demonstrated in numerous paintings of the Folies Bergère, which have been on exhibit at the Tropicana Hotel and Casino and galleries around Las Vegas. Welcome, Terry, to Women in Music and Arts and our KLAV listening audience.
Hi there.
You and I have been friends for a long time. In fact, we met in a show. Why don't you tell us about the shows you've been in?
I've been in several. My first show was called Rocky Sinus's Wild World of Burlesque. And I've been in Pinups at the Movies and Folies Bergère, Naughty Ladies, similar ones like that, all over. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how old were you when you started painting, and what was it that made you want to be a painter?
My first interest was when I was 9 years old. I had a defining moment that I got an A+ on a project, and I said, that's it. I'm going to be a painter. I'm great. I just know it. And that was it.
You were confident.
I was confident. I just felt it was, that's what I want to do when I grow up.
That's great.
It's always been my first love, and I've also had the opportunity to dance too, which was my second love.
Well, so how did you transition from a career as a performer to a career as a painter?
Well, I was always doing the painting in school and workshops and taking dance classes at the same time, and then I would paint backstage while I was working and paint the performers and their dogs and cats and portraits and whatever they wanted, and that was as much my livelihood as my dance career at the time. So
you told me you sometimes were finishing up a painting before you were running out on the stage to perform.
Yeah, they used to call me Renoir Ritter. I'd be painting and in the hallway or sitting or doing some project, and they go, Terry, hurry up, get on stage. And I go, oh my God. And so I'd run on, and I laid a few times, but I had very understanding producers. And
that's fortunate.
But to have that amount of time, there's usually like 20 minutes between acts and things. And
so where can our listeners see your paintings and find out more about you?
Well, my biggest accomplishment is going to be seen at the McCarran Airport, which is a 50-foot mural by 8 feet of showgirls. And that is happening on the open house for the public is on June 9th from 10 to 4. And everybody's just got to come down and see that. And I can also be seen in the Monte Carlo and different places around town. But go to my website. I have everything there. I have my videos. It's terryritterart.com.
That's terryritterart.com. If you are just tuning in now, you are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV AM 1230, live from Las Vegas. My guests today are Terry Ritter, Linda Addington, Angelique Stefanelli, and Jason Berman. We are here with artist Terry Ritter. As a result of her prolific body of artwork, Terry was the only local painter to be awarded the commission for McCarran Airport's new international terminal. Her mixed media, Follies in Flight, will be revealed to the public for the first time on June 9th, which is what she was just mentioning. Terry, let's talk about Follies in Flight. How did that come about?
Well, I got commissioned for it. I submitted a body of work for a spot they had, which was a 50-foot spot in the new terminal, which is going to be opening at the end of June.
It's the international terminal,
International. Right? And different people submitted things, but they were looking for a Las Vegas-themed subject. So it was perfect. It was just a perfect match, and I gave them 2 or 3 different samples, and I brought in these big panels and how it could be and do, and I was just lucky enough to be awarded that. So
I understand there were 6 other artists that were commissioned for it, and you were the only local artist. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
When did you get that commission?
It was like almost 4 years ago, and it's been evolving since the building was being built. So.
Can you explain a little bit about how you created the mural? Because it's a mixed media. It's not just a painting.
I put it on canvas and projected it. I worked on it in my house, and it just kind of evolved and ended up the whole living room and around the wall. And I built walls for it, and so it just evolved over the 3 years. And
yeah, I've been to your house, and I know that you got rid of all your living room furniture so you could make room for this.
My house is an art studio, basically. There's no furniture. My husband is got a little room in the back, and he still supports me and loves me, and it's amazing.
That's great. Well, as you were saying before, you can go to Terry's website, which is terryritterart.com, and I understand you made a video making the mural with interviews with the Follies Bergère girls, and that's on your website.
Yes.
Okay. And also on your website, you have available for sale originals, prints, cards, and books, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of books,
yes,
you have a new book.
It's a illustration book of a lot of illustrations from Follies Bergère. The last 7 years or so before it closed, I'd go backstage and take pictures of the girls, and did a lot of pictures of them. And it's a whole collection of Follies work and different performers I've done.
I think you have Lance Burton in there, who was in the Follies Bergère for a time. You also had some Brazilian theme, and you had a couple of commissions in there, one of Fluff from Jubilee.
Yes, yeah.
Fluff was here for a long time. And you also had Jerry Jackson, the producer of the Follies Bergère, for 50 years.
Yes, he's been a great mentor, friend, supporter. And I worked for him in pinups at the movies, and he gave me carte blanche to paint whatever I wanted, and I'd bring things in, and he'd give me suggestions, and he's quite an artist himself. He produced all his music and the numbers and for the whole Follies Bergère.
That's great. Okay, so just to reiterate, there's an open house June 9th at McCarran International Airport, and the new terminal will be open to the public from 10 to 4 p.m. There are going to be tours, and the public will be able to tour the terminal to see all the artwork on display. So save the date to meet artist Terry Ritter because she will be there.
Yay! Come see me.
You are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV 1230, and we are live from Las Vegas. My guests for this show are Terry Ritter, Linda Addington, Angelique Stefanelli, and Jason Berman. So we're talking with artist Terry Ritter. You're a sculptor also, Terry.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
As I've been painting, I've always had a love for the figure, and the great thing I've loved about doing the sculpting is that you can turn it around and see the back of it, and you don't have to worry about colors and contrast and making it three-dimensional. And I just feel like I have an innate ability to do it because I have been looking in the mirror for 30 years at the form, not only mine, but everyone else's. Mm-hmm. So I just really love it, and it's very relaxing, too.
Well, I've seen her work, and it is beautiful. And one thing about sculptures, a lot of times I'll notice that they have a tough time making the features feminine in the face, and your features are very feminine in the face, and that's very important, I think, in female sculptures. A few years ago, you had a life-changing event. Would you like to share it with our listeners?
Yes, I had throat cancer, and I had radiation, and it was in stage 4. This is kind of not new to so many people now, and I really don't dwell on it a lot, but it has been a life-changing event because every day is very special now. And the fact, when I beat it, and it's been gone for 4 years now, I'm just like, every day is a gift.
Well, that alone makes you an inspiration to a lot of women out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of inspirations, we have a break we're going to take.
Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. Look how I'm longing to see how good a friend you can be. Stick with me, sister, I'm the gal that you came in with. Luck be a lady with me. A lady doesn't leave her escort. It isn't fair, it isn't nice. A lady doesn't wander all over the joint and blow on some other gal's dice. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, sister, I'm the gal that you came in with. Luck be a lady tonight.
Join us tomorrow, Thursday, May 17th, 2012, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for our monthly WIMA Mixer. Music, fantasy, and special effects featuring singer-songwriter Linda Addington, fantasy writer Angelique Stefanelli, and special effects makeup artist Jason Berman, who are on our show with us today. Enjoy Santa Cruz Coffee Roasting Company's single-origin coffees, bagels, muffins, and cafe sandwiches at Holly's Cuppa, owned by Holly Steely at 9265 South Cimarron Road, number 115. That's at Blue Diamond Road in Cimarron, in Las Vegas, Nevada, 89178. Their phone number is 702-778-7750. Bring your business cards for the grand prize drawing. Tickets will be on sale for raffle prizes, and the proceeds get donated to the WIMA Scholarship Fund. For more information on women in music and arts, you can go to WIMAinternational.com to learn more about us and the WIMA with the WIMA Scholarship Fund, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. Become a member now, network with industry professionals, and showcase your talents and make a difference. This is Sandy Kastel with Women in Music and Arts, and we are live from Las Vegas. For your listening convenience, this show is also online at vegasallnetradio.com and will be rebroadcast this Friday morning at 9 a.m. Terry, we were talking about inspiration. Who has been your biggest inspiration as an artist, and who's your favorite artist and why?
I'd say my most favorite is Maxfield Parrish, an earlier 1900 painter, fantasy type of painter. But Renoir, Degas, the Impressionists, Monet, they've all been real inspirational to me. And I think I learned how to paint by copying them when I was younger, and it kind of morphed into my own style, but they had a lot of inspiration, or they had a lot of influence on me.
I heard that's a good way for artists to learn, is by copying the masters.
I think so.
And then they develop their own style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To what do you attribute your success as a painter?
Perseverance and through the lean years, and I don't do it for the money, or money is good, but I've never relied on that, but because I love it, and it's my passion.
And you have the ability to capture the emotion of being on stage and catching that artist in the moment, right?
That's my goal, and that I do. Maybe things may not be totally technically great, and they have gotten better with time, but to capture the feeling of how I felt when I was on stage,
right,
very important. So,
well, Terry, you've accomplished quite a lot in your lifetime. What's your next project?
I'm open. I would love another public work, another mural, sculpting, and I've got a lot of things that I am just going to pursue.
I understand that if you had one quote that you could leave with our listeners today, Terry, what would that be?
I'd say don't let fear get in the way of what you want to do. Get the job and figure out how to do it.
Thank you, Terry, for joining us. That was Terry Ritter. You can see her artwork at www.terryritterart.com.
Thank you.
You are listening to Women in Music and Arts with host Sandy Kastel on KLAV AM 1230, and we are live from Las Vegas. You may also find out more about Women in Music and Arts on our website, WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMA International.com. Now, let's meet our next guest, Linda Addington. Writing songs since age 11, Linda looks at life through a filter of hope. Having faced many different challenges, Linda expresses the struggle and outcome through music in hopes of inspiring others. She says, "My passion is music. My goal is to touch people's hearts in such a way that they find the courage to do the impossible." Welcome, Linda, to Women in Music and Arts and our KLAV audience. When did you get started writing songs?
I was 11 years old. Came from a very musical family, and started with guitar, and just really enjoyed. Like I said, I came from a musical family and enjoyed playing guitar. Picked up the guitar, and found that I could just make stuff up. So took my guitar babysitting, actually, and the kids loved that. We would just make stuff up.
What music influences did you listen to as a child?
You know, as a kid, I would listen to the radio. You know, you would hear what was happening there. But more into my teen years, I loved Barbra Streisand. You know, it was that big voice thing and the musical theater thing, and that's what I wanted to do.
You said there have been challenges in your life. Is there one defining moment that changed your life?
I think life is a big adventure. and there's always going to be roadblocks, you know, and maybe Terry can relate to this too. Time you're trying to do something that really moves you and makes a difference and moves other people, there's going to be obstacles. And I'm not thinking of any one thing that comes to mind, but I know that you just have to keep going and pull on the strength that's in your life. And for me, even just going back and playing my songs, I'll go, oh, wow, yeah, I really feel good about that, and it can help me continue.
Well, you are one of our featured artists tomorrow at our monthly WIMA Mixer. This is going to be held at Holly's Cuppa. How important do you think that it is to perform at events like this?
I think it's really great to get out into the community. I did stop by and meet Holly, and she's very cool. Just so you all know, she's an aerialist in Le Rêve, or was, retired to her passion, which is coffee, studied it all over the place. And I just think meeting people on a one-to-one basis is a way to really connect. And part of my passion in writing, even most recently, is to find out what's going on with people and find out what's motivating them and try to come from their perspective, maybe add a little research. And that's what I've been doing actually in the last year. And it's very powerful.
In fact, you were just recently at the Higher Expressions event over at the Ganesha Center with G. Eric Miles, right?
Yes, that was awesome.
That's wonderful. I did that also, and
Yes.
it was a lot of fun. And
Well,
a lot of people coming together.
Mm-hmm. I've been spending a lot of time there since. I've made many friends, and I've been joining their Reiki share circles, and that is just a beautiful environment. The energy's great. There's a healing feeling. We're rhyming right here on the radio. And my CDs are available there as well.
Oh, and Lee Papa, she's doing a wonderful job over there, and they have a coffee shop, and we're going to be doing our next mixer in June at that place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at the Ganesha Center. That place. Let's listen to one of Linda's original songs right now. It's one of my favorites. It's called Holding On to Letting Go.
Love to give, but I'm holding back, holding my own. I don't need anything from anyone, and I won't sit home by the phone. I'm not afraid of getting old, but getting old alone. I don't know what is missing. I'm happy when he's kissing me, but there's more, there must be more, so I am holding on to letting go. He doesn't know what I feel inside, I don't know myself. Holding on to a part of me I can't give anymore. I don't want to lose myself, don't want to cry on the floor. I'm aware that he cares and he keeps giving, and I think if I just go on living, things will change, they must change, so I am holding on to letting go. I am holding on, hoping he'll be the one who never let me go.
This is Sandy Kastel with Women in Music and Arts on KLAV 1230, live from Las Vegas. Linda, that was absolutely beautiful. I love the song and I love your voice.
Thank you, thank you. That's so
Linda's musical style is a blend of musical theater and jazz that is easy on the ear and relaxing. She calls it theatrical jazz. Having grown up in Minneapolis, then spending different chapters of her life in New York, Paris, and Las Vegas, Linda has an eclectic collection of experiences that have culminated in her new release, Almost Home. Who inspires you as a singer and as a songwriter? I know that's two different questions.
It is two different questions. You know, when you look at writing songs, this is a name people might know, Kenny Loggins, a great songwriter. And the way he writes a bridge, he takes you out and then he brings you back. Women singers, Jane Monheit I've been listening to, blows me away. And she's a jazz singer. I have a live recording of her at the Rainbow Room in New York, and her vocal ability is so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And then she can do all this cool jazz stuff. Songwriting, I've met a lot of songwriters lately. Jenna Stanfield is one that I truly admire. And she's in the positive music realm, which I'm stepping into. I went to a conference in Orlando, met her, and these are open-hearted people who are using their music to make a difference, to lift people. And I can say, maybe I said it a little earlier, but when you lift other people, you go right with it.
Well, I think that's right in tune with Women in Music and Arts, don't you?
Absolutely.
In fact, what does Women in Music and Arts represent to you?
Well, it's been so much fun to see it evolve, even just since I joined you guys, maybe was September last year. And it's, you know, it started out just a few of us around the table talking about what we do and what do we want to do and what's our vision. And it's already evolved into so many more women. We seem to just magnetize and attract women at every mixer, and it's growing, and we're able to go into different venues, not necessarily a theater venue like we were at Urban Ranch last time, right?
That's right.
Just a really cool place where you might not expect to see entertainment, and then once again you're in the community and you're making one-on-one contacts with people, and I'm so excited to see where this is going to go. And I'm so I just want to commend you, Sandy, for what you're doing, because here she is, first day on the radio, and you're awesome. You're just really taking the lead, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, thank you, Linda, and I'm glad you're a part of us. Where can your listeners find your music?
You can find me on iTunes. I'm on Amazon.com. There's CD Baby. Just look for Linda Addington. Reverb Nation, which is a really awesome site for musicians, Linda Addington Music. As I mentioned, my CDs are at the Ganesha Center in a hard copy, and also at A Harmony Nail Spa in Commercial Center. There's a display there.
So they're displayed on display around town, and also you have a MySpace.com with Linda Addington Music, and you also have a Facebook.
Facebook, exactly.
So those are very important places for all of us to be nowadays. It's social networking.
Absolutely.
Multiplied. In fact, our show is going to be replayed on KLAV's online site, which is VANR, there you go. And it will be rebroadcast Friday morning at 9 a.m. So now we're going to listen to another of Linda's songs, Life is New.
This feeling flowing out of me, you can draw me out like a moth to flame. The world could tumble down around me. I look at you and I hardly know my name. Troubles fade and the day melts tonight. Time in your eyes is an endless flight. Life is new now, full of you now. Life gets better. could not design a feeling so fine. And all the times I thought I'd fallen before were only stones on the path to your door. Life is new now, full of you now. Life gets better every day. Life is new now. Nothing I can't do now. You're in my heart to stay. You're in my heart to stay. If I should doubt what I know.
Make a difference with WIMA, Women in Music and Arts. WIMA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. And becoming a member is easy. Log on to WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMA, W-I-M-A, international.com. Or call 702-240-2930. 702-240-2930. The benefits of membership are many. There are empowering women workshops, monthly WIMA mixers at different locations, art shows, songwriter showcases, big band performances, poetry readings, and so much more. And membership starts at just $25. Log on now to WIMAinternational.com or call 702-240-2930. That's 702-240-2930. WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts.
Now, let's return to WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Here again is your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, you are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV 1230, and we are live from Las Vegas. I had a correction here earlier. We are streaming live and on KLAV AM 1230, and our show will be rebroadcast on VANR this Friday morning at 9 a.m. My guests for this show are Terry Ritter, Linda Addington, Angelique Stefanelli, and Jason Berman. And the song that we just finished hearing was Life is New by Linda Addington. Thank you, Linda Addington, so much.
Thank
I'm
you,
looking
Sandy.
forward to hearing you sing again tomorrow evening at our WIMA mixer at Holly's Cuppa.
Right on. Come on down and hear us. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Our next guest is a UNLV graduate student. Angelique Stefanelli was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, and her first foray into the arts was at the tender age of 5, when she began taking piano and karate lessons. She received her black belt at 9, and at 11 enrolled at a studio for the arts and took theater, voice, and all the dance classes they had to offer. She tested the waters of journalism with some freelance work for the local newspapers in Pahrump, where she lives now. Angelique received an Associate of Arts degree with an emphasis in psychology and will graduate with honors this year from UNLV with a BA in film, in which she concentrated on acting and screenwriting, but her passion is writing fantasy novels, which she hopes to publish one day. Welcome, Angelique, to Women in Music and Arts. You have a variety of interest in the arts. Why is fantasy writing such a favorite?
Well, hi, Sandy. Fantasy writing it's like a huge canvas, and there are so many colors to mix. It's just, for me, it's the place where I can discover the universal truths about human nature. Growing up, I was extremely interested in mythology. I grew up reading Greek and Roman mythology, Nordic mythology. Later on, got into Egyptian mythology and all of that, and the symbolism that I found there really struck a chord with me. And so I just started delving deeper and deeper. And you know, my parents read to me from the very beginning. I think even when I was in my mother's belly. So I just came out an avid reader, and fantasy was what I clung to.
That's great. Well, now you started very young, and you've probably heard and read a lot of writers since that time.
Yes,
Which
definitely.
writers inspired you the most, and who is your favorite fantasy writer?
Oh gosh. Well, let's see. I definitely fell in love with J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter. That's my generation. I grew up with all of those novels. But I think the single most inspirational author for me would have to be Marion Zimmer Bradley, and her work, The Mists of Avalon.
I love Miss of Avalon.
Yes, it's fantastic because once again, they're the legends and the myths of Arthur and his knights of the Round Table, but it's told completely from the point of view of the women involved, and it's very empowering to women. And plus her writing is just so smooth, and it's fantastic, and you get sucked into it. And you know, I find myself lost for hours in that book, and I reread it, and I'm actually rereading it now to help me with the work that I'm doing. So it never gets old.
When I first read that book, I didn't want to put it down because I was afraid I was going to miss something that was going on, like it was going to keep going on without me. So yes, I agree.
That's the
I
work
love
of
her.
a great author.
Love her
for
writing.
Sure.
So what are your plans after graduating?
Well, I would very much like to move to LA. I know it's expensive down there, but I want to, because I'm graduating very soon from UNLV with a degree in film, and I concentrated, like you said, in the screenwriting and acting. And I would like to try, you know, I got into acting and theater pretty young, around 11 or so. And that's been a passion for a very long time. And I have so many interests, you know, but this one in particular is very time sensitive, and you know, I'm in my early 20s, and if I want to get it done, I got to get it done now, you know. So I want to move down to LA, and you know, do the rounds, do the agents, casting directors, you know, managers, the whole bit, take classes, you know, and just never stop, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to say. With all your classes in music and theater, do you think you'll pursue an acting career in film or theater, or do you like being on the other side of the camera more, or in front of the camera?
You know, I actually had never thought of a career behind the camera until I started going to UNLV, and the variety of classes that I took there kind of opened my eyes to just, you know, how holistic this process is. I mean, everybody is so integral to making a film, and I had never thought about it until we took some, you know, production classes, and I had to be the one behind the camera doing some filming, doing some directing work. And right now, I think I'm going to stick with the acting and being in front of the camera, and also writing, because that's, you know, that's one of my biggest passions. But I think I'd like to try later on down the line, maybe doing some producing and directing, because I know there are books that I'd like to turn into, you know, movies or television series. So I would definitely, I wouldn't say no to a career behind the camera later on.
Okay. You are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV 1230, live from Las Vegas. My guests for this show are Terry Ritter, Linda Addington, Angelique Stefanelli, and Jason Berman. We're speaking now with Angelique Stefanelli. Angelique, we were going to have you read one of your excerpts from your fantasy novels, but I understand that we're going to save that for tomorrow evening, because you're going to be one of our featured artists at the WIMA Mixer, which is music, fantasy, and special effects. Is that? And
yes, definitely. Well, we got to save something, you know.
That's right. So
make them come, draw them in.
Why don't we give them a little teaser, though, and just tell them a little bit about the general idea of what it is you're going to be doing tomorrow?
Sure. I'll be reading an excerpt from the prologue of my progress, my novel in progress. It's fantasy. It's an epic fantasy, so it's more along the lines of, say, Tolkien's Lord of the Rings or Martin's Song of Ice and Fire series.
Something that you can have a series of stories.
Yes,
Series
definitely,
of books.
definitely, and that's been the hardest part because I've had to world build this whole thing, and since it's a series, I've had to kind of plot out things now that happened several books down the line, and to kind of foreshadow and everything. But I will be reading an excerpt from the first, the first book. Fingers crossed, it gets picked up. And it's, in a nutshell, I suppose you could say, well, in this world, it's like the stories of old, the mythologies that I grew up with. There's a pantheon of gods, gods for everything. And so a princess is chosen by a god to help him kind of wage war on his brother and try to take over the heavens and the earth. So it's an anti-hero's journey. I have to do something different. The monomyth, Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, it's in everything. So I kind of wanted to try something different.
Well, it sounds exciting. Now, as a student, one of the aspects of WIMA, of course, is scholarships, and we are raising money for scholarships.
Right.
And so as a student of the arts and going to college, how important do you think it is for students to get scholarships?
Very, very important. I went, to UNLV, and I had the Millennium Scholarship. So without that, it would have been very difficult to have gone through all these years.
Well, thank you.
So especially for the arts in particular, it's so important.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to go to break right now, and we'll be back in a few minutes with Angelique, Stefanelli, and the rest of the gang.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. Got a whole lot of money that's ready to burn, so get those stakes up higher. There's 1,000 handsome men waiting out there. They're all living, the devil may care, and I'm just the devil.
Hi, this is Sandy Kastel with WIMA, W-I-M-A, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Join me every Wednesday at noon as I introduce you to the members of Women in Music and Arts, a nonprofit organization comprising of dynamic, influential women in the performing, visual, and literary arts, dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. Discover how we are making a difference by supporting the arts and providing scholarships today to develop the artists of tomorrow. Learn the tools and techniques available to develop creativity and pursue your passion with segments from our Empowering Women workshops. We will keep you informed about our upcoming WIMA mixers, art shows, performances, and community outreach programs, and let you know how you can make a difference with WIMA.
Become a member of WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, 702-240-2930. Become a member, WIMAinternational.com. Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts.
Hi, this is Sandy Kastel with WIMA, W-I-M-A, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Join me every Wednesday at noon as I introduce you to the members of Women in Music and Arts, a nonprofit organization comprising of dynamic, influential women in the performing, visual, and literary arts, dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. Join me Wednesdays at noon for Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts.
You're listening to WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Here again is your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hi, you are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV 1230 live from Las Vegas. And we are also streaming live on KLAV1230am.com, which we also will have a rebroadcast and archives on VegasAllNetRadio.com. Thank you, Angelique Stefanelli. I did want to mention that your father's a musician, and that's how we met. My father has worked with him. My dad's a jazz musician, and he said, Angelo has a daughter, and she's been wanting to find out about women in music and arts. So Finally, you came out to one of our shows.
Right, at the E String.
At the E String, and I think
Yes.
that was the tribute to the Legends of Jazz, wasn't that?
Yes, definitely. It
Okay.
comes full circle, right?
And then you came there and you joined. So we're happy to have you. Now,
you so
where
much.
can people find your information?
Well, right now, Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm kind of reinventing my blog and all of that. So
Okay.
I'll have updates and info on the Facebook page.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you so
us.
much. It's been a pleasure.
Now joining us is UNLV graduate student and special effects makeup artist Jason Berman. Jason was born and raised in Southern California until the age of 9 when his family relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada. It was here that he began taking percussion lessons and joined his middle school band. His percussion teacher urged him to join the Las Vegas Academy of International Studies, Performing and Visual Arts. He did join the magnet school, but decided to join as a theater major instead. It was here that Jason purchased his first Ben Nye makeup kit and learned the basic process for applying stage makeup. Welcome to Women in Music and Arts and the KLAV audience, Jason. You've had an interesting journey to decide that you wanted to become a makeup artist. What got you interested in special effects makeup?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me here. In high school, as you said, I was a theater major, and part of performing, I was in many musicals. We had to learn about the process of stage makeup. And when we went to UNLV, I went for screenwriting. That was my focus. But I also had to take production classes. And in the process, we came across moments in which special effects and makeup was needed, and no one else knew how to do anything. And I luckily had my Ben Nye stage makeup kit right with me. So I pulled that out, and I tried to remember some things from high school and just kind of played around. And that was my first first time actually going into the special effects portion of film.
Well, that's great. So what did you enjoy most about special effects makeup, and how did you learn to do it?
It comes from there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, actually. You go on there and you look up, all right, we need to do a scar on this person. How do people do that? And how can they do it on a budget? So I looked that type of stuff up, and I would make it from there. And what was the other question? I'm sorry.
That's okay. How did you learn how to do it?
Pretty much I'm self-taught. It comes from my background with being a theater major in high school, and like I said, exploring different ways of doing things through the internet.
How long does it take to do a makeup job?
That usually depends on what type of makeup we're doing. It usually takes about several hours for full face, let's say burn, and it could take as little as 5 to 10 minutes for a scar. Recently, I did a film shoot where we went up into these caves, and and it was the most challenging one I actually had to do, because I had to put on makeup for about 10 to 15 people. So that was the most I've ever had to do at a time.
You're going to be one of our featured guests tomorrow also, special effects makeup.
Yes.
And I'm curious, are you going to need a volunteer?
Actually, not. I'm not going to, just because, unfortunately, time won't allow for...
3 hours.
Right, 3 hours of putting someone in the chair. I'm going to bring pictures, and I have some pictures of actually going through the process of applying the makeup.
Oh, that's great.
So...
That's great. What has been the most difficult part of doing special effects makeup?
Really, it's been trying to learn from mistakes, trying to experiment, trying to basically learn by a process of elimination. And like I said, my last film shoot, I had to do makeup on 12 people, where before it was only one person in a film shoot. So that was very demanding.
Jason, what if you had to suggest to the audience members interested in getting into this profession, what would you say?
I'd say go to your local makeup store, ask if they have any stage makeup. Ben Nye's a great product. Also, they're around Halloween time. It's great. Go to party stores and pick up different prosthetics and learn how to do things with spirit gum and play around with just creating your own creations. And like I said, YouTube is a great place
To learn.
to learn different things you can do. Absolutely.
Where do people find you?
Right now, I'm just on Facebook, and
Okay.
I have some of my makeup stuff displayed there.
So is it just facebook.com/Jason Berman?
Yes, I believe so.
Did I say that wrong? Okay, and what does Women in Music and Arts mean to you, and why did you join?
Well, I joined because well, first and foremost, I feel that the arts are very underrated in our society today, and women are often overlooked when it comes to their talents, and and it's always focused on the men. And I'm a full supporter of getting a group together that you have done and supporting the arts and women's influence in the arts, and I think it's a great thing that you're doing right here.
Thank you. The other thing is, Jason, as you noticed, Jason is a man. And I just want to let you know that WIMA does have male members. We are not against having male members. We have a lot of them that are joining. We have a videographer. We have Colin here in the audience with us, Colin Severe. And also behind the scenes, he's videotaping this program. And Irma Zarita, I want to thank you because she's our engineer here, and she's doing a fabulous job of guiding us. And you are listening to Women in Music and Arts with host Sandy Kastel on KLAV AM 1230, and streaming on, let's see if I get this right, streaming live on KLAV1230am.com. Jason, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your presentation tomorrow at our WIMA mixer, which is called Music, Fantasy, and Special Effects, and that will be at Holly's Cuppa, and that's at 9265 South Cimarron, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117, near Blue Diamond in Cimarron. And we hope you'll all join us, and we hope you'll come back to see us, to listen to us next week. This is your host, Sandy Kastel, and I'm thrilled to have 4 guests with me today: Terry Ritter, Linda Addington, Angelique, Stefanelli, and Jason Berman. This show is sponsored by members of Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. My guests next week will be announced on our website at WIMA International. That's WIMA International.com. I would like to thank my guests again for joining me today. You can find links and information about my guest on the Women in Music and Arts website at WIMAInternational.com. Women in Music and Arts, and also we have a website. You can post questions and join, become a member, and just remember, to pursue your dreams is a lifelong goal. To achieve them is the ultimate dream. Here is a song from my album, This Time Around.
Dankeschön, auf Wiedersehen, Dankeschön.